questions for Coach.
Matt, just starting with Jeremy, just how does that impact your defense, and kind of what do you guys plan to do to kind of make up for his absence?
Yeah, early in the beginning of the season, we made the decision to keep Justin Burris on the practice squad, knowing that he was a guy once healthy, because he was a little banged up during training camp. Once healthy, we feel like he can play at a really high level in this league. So we have Marquise Blair, who we elevated last week, who's played in the league. We have Justin Burris. Obviously, losing someone like Jeremy Chinn is difficult, right? He's a great player. But you know what? We don't want to rush it. His health comes first, and I want to make sure that he has a chance to heal. So those other guys will be available as well.
Is it a hamstring? Can you give us a little more detail into the injury?
A hamstring, yeah, just a really severe hamstring.
Just watching the tape, how did Hartsfield and Chandler make up for him when he went down?
I thought those guys played good football. Hartsfield, most of his reps in practice come at the nickel position. So having to transition, he's trained as a safety, but having to transition and go back and play safety, I thought those guys played well. Jeremy just has, obviously the big physical guy that he is. He's an eraser. He can, erase plays and make impact plays. But we have a lot of confidence in Miles and in Sean. And again, we kept Justin for this very reason. He's a tremendous pro in person, and when healthy, can be a really good player.
Matt, how good was the communication back there with Jeremy and Xavier, and how have you seen that coming along with a different set of guys?
Yeah, I think the communication really starts with Xavier. I think him being here, he's brought a lot to our defense in terms of his ability to communicate. And I think you've seen everyone else on the defense really start to communicate at a higher level because of Xavier. So, him playing would be big for us this week.
You mentioned before Xavier Woods and his communication style. What's different about the way he communicates?
A lot of guys speak, and they don't speak with a lot of confidence. They speak suggest calls. He does it, and he does it until people communicate. He does it when he's definitive. He gets everybody on the same page. There's a play early in the game where someone else was wrong and he was right, but he made sure everyone played the wrong call because he knew, if all 11 of us play the right call, play a call, we'll have a chance. And so he's just confident. He's thought through a lot of things back. He's played a lot of football, thought through a lot of things back there, and not afraid to make the call, make sure everyone hears the call. And he'll keep saying it until they hear it.
Any concern with his status this week?
Yeah, he'll be day to day. We're not sure if he'll play or not.
Derek Brown's the guy that got benched last year in Miami with big strides. What have you seen from him in his play? Since then?
Yeah, it's not always popular in our society, but Derek, I talked to the media after that game. It wasn't a very good game, and Derek came in and met me in my locker room afterwards. And sometimes in life, people need to take a break, catch their breath, and come back. And Derek's an outstanding worker, great man, great husband and father. Great, he's good at everything he does. He has figured out who he is as a player. He's not trying to be somebody else. He understands he's a big, powerful, physical, push the pocket, get off, dominate the A and B gap player. And so he's found pass rush moves that suit his style because he's unique. And sometimes you try to be somebody else. Well, you know what? You're unique. And so he's playing great football, Will. He's played 3 games in a row now at a really high level. But what he's added is, I thought our defensive line, on Sunday was as well as I've ever seen them play. And Kyler was going to be a real challenge, keeping him in the pocket. I thought they crushed the pocket, and he was a big part of that.
Sorry, if you don't mind, that conversation, you said he came in your office after that game, the Miami game. What was that conversation like with him and being like, this isn't personal?
Well, I didn't say anything. He talked, yeah. I mean, he came to see me. I didn't say, hey, come see me. He literally came. I'm talking about in my office in the locker room after the game, and was like, hey, I'm gonna, doesn't matter. These other things don't matter. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get myself going in the right direction. And I think that's why he's so successful. Because he was, he played for Coach Gardner at Auburn, so he's he's been coached by one of the best D-line coaches in terms of accountability. He's got a great family, and sometimes guys are doing well, but you want more for them, so you're pushing them to get to this level, not just stay at this level. And now he's seeing where he's at, and I'm telling you, he can be way better. I mean, Derek's just going to keep taking steps because his daily process, his work that he does. I mean, I left the practice field. He's out there still working on things he needs to do this week versus this offense, which is quite a run game. He's working on that right now. So I just think him saying, Coach, I'm not going to worry about anything else other than just getting better.
The 49ers are, I think, the top-ranked defense in yards allowed per game. And the Panthers, you guys are 32nd in yards game per game. Can you just talk about the challenge that they will present this week for you all?
Yeah, I think they're number one. I don't know if there's a category they're not number one in on defense. They held Russell Wilson and Denver Broncos to 10 points. They held Seattle Seahawks and Geno to 7 points. They held Matt Stafford and the Rams to 9 points. They've held 3 teams under 10 10 points or less. So they're excellent at what they do. They've been great on defense for a long time. They've got great players. They've got a great system. Their defensive line is as good as it gets. But we like our players too. We have a good defense too, and so we're going to try to go play. And our offense, we're going to try to build off the things that we do well. These guys, they stop the run, they rush the passer, they play coverage. They have a good blitz package. Coach Ryans is doing a great job. So for me, it's just about we have an offensive line that we like. We're going to lean on them to play well. We're going to lean on our tight ends to play well. Christian, we're going to lean on Christian to play well. We're going to throw the ball around and trust our guys to go make plays. And it's a great opportunity to play against really the best. So it's an opportunity for our guys to play against the best and take a step this week as an offense.
The pressure in particular they put on, I think 7 sacks this past week. How trying to get a quarterback in rhythm, knowing you're facing a team that's going to put that kind of pressure, how does that complicate things?
Yeah, I think the best pass defense is a good pass rush, and so they certainly have that. To me, it's just about trying to be balanced. It's about trying to take advantage of the players that we have who can make plays. The Christians, the DJs, the Robbies. Our tight ends have been showing up here, in different ways. So, when we drop back to throw it, we just have to be on time and trust our guys, and then guys have to win versus tight coverage. Ward's playing excellent for them. So we just have to go play.
You mentioned doing what you guys do best offensively. In your mind, what is that?
We haven't had a ton of success offensively to your point, but I think Christian's played well. We've gotten Christian the ball. DJ's had we've had some explosive passes. So I've talked a lot about what we need to improve on the third downs and those things, but I think if we can stay in third and manageable, hopefully maybe go for it on fourth downs here and there. But I think getting the ball in Christian's hands, getting the ball in DJ's hands, trying to run the football. Again, versus this defense, you have to pick your spots. So I'm not going to give away too much of what we're going to do, but I think finding the plays that have worked for us and the guys who can make plays for us and trust them to go make plays.
Would you like the run game to become your offensive identity?
Yeah, I'm not gonna speak too much on kind of our game plan or all that. But I do think for us to be successful, we have to run the ball more than we did this past game, and I think there's a lot of things to that. Like I said, I think if we don't convert third downs, the situational football will always go first in my mind, and so. Like what we did at the end of the half, and really, down 2 scores, going down the field, our 2-minute offense situationally was pretty good, right? But we have to be better on third down to allow the runs to take shape. We have to keep our defense off the field, and so I think those are all things that we have to improve upon moving forward.
Matt, what makes you think that you can turn this around? What do you look at and say, we can turn this around? What goes through your mind?
I think we have good players. I think I trust our players. I think we have to make more plays on offense. I think our defense is playing well. I think our special teams is playing well. I think our O-line is playing well. I think our guys practice hard and play hard. I think we lost 2 games closely. Last game was 10-10 in the fourth quarter. If we start playing better on offense, we'll have a chance in every game. I'm not saying we're going to win every game. We'll have a chance. I mean, we had to get the ball in the fourth quarter down 13-10. That's a game that we feel like, versus a team that went 13-3 last year. We feel like we have a chance to win. So. To me, for our guys, it's about getting better. So it's my same message. The same message I had last week after the Saints win was just get better. We just let go of the rope a little bit at the end of that game. We're not going to win if we have 3 turnovers. I mean, no team in the NFL does. So it's not us; it's no team. So I want us to play better on offense. I want us to protect the ball. But I like the way our defense is playing. I like the way our special teams is playing. I like the way our O-line is playing. I like the way our receivers played this past game. We just got to get a little bit better on offense.
Matt, it's rare to find a kicker who's in September who's been as efficient as Eddie has after he lost Zane. What went into the process of finding him as the replacement, and what does he bring to that special teams unit, obviously, outside of consistency?
Yeah, I actually made this point to a couple of guys on the team about improvement. Like if you could have been at the first practice Eddie was here to see how far he's come to knock a 54-yarder through. I mean, he is as improved a player as there is. He was pretty rusty. He was coming off an injury. He was So we went through the process of looking at guys. Obviously, Chris had some, Tabor had some history with him. Worked him out. Had kicked with the Jets, but early on he was rusty. He was really, really rusty. And so, even in that first game, I think we talked about, he kicked the first ball out of bounds, the field goal at the end. Now he's becoming a weapon. He's getting better every week. And so, but that's who Eddie is. If you get to know him, he's an awesome guy. He's a confident guy. He just hadn't kicked in a while and he's coming off an injury, and we're just being very consistent with him. And he went out. It was windy on Sunday, and he nailed that kick. So I just think he's gotten better every week, and the kickoffs are getting better. We like to kick him inbounds and go. We don't try to kick him through the end zone. We like to cover because our guys are pretty good at tackling down inside the 20, and Eddie's doing a nice job of that as well.
Coach, you guys are big on using data analytics. I'm wondering for your third down conversions, is there anything that the analytics could be there to help you with improving the third down conversion rates?
Yeah, analytics they usually talk more about going for it on fourth down. I think when you talk about third downs, there's really two key metrics they talk about. It's usually third down avoidance. It's about staying out of third down is the best way. The first game, whoever was 6 of Cleveland was, I think, 6 of 18 against us. Being an 18 third downs is a win for the defense, no matter whether they get 30% of them or not. So you want to get first downs on first and second down. In terms of third down, I think the next metric you probably talk about is distance to go. And that was early on was our issue. It's gotten better every week. It was like 3rd and 9, the average distance. And then from there, it's just about executing them. So our analytics guys, they after that, they really just talk more about, hey, when to go for it on fourth down, and the analytics guys are usually pretty aggressive about going for it on fourth down.
Baker seems like a very competitive guy. I know he came in here with a lot of expectations for himself, but he hasn't lived up to those right now. And he said he hasn't played as well as he'd like to play. As a coach, how do you kind of help him maybe get out of the rut that he may be in right now offensively as a quarterback? Yeah,
I think going back to the tape and for any player, but for him, hey, this is what we did right. This is what we did well. This is what we didn't do as well. I think most times with players, when they're not playing as well as they want, it's about, are you doing in the games what you normally do, or are you trying too hard or thinking a little too much? And then also trying to get guys around him. There's some third downs that hit some guys' hands now, and we're going to talk. Quarterback early on in the game, they can get kind of hot. Like, quarterbacks can be streaky. The first third down gets caught across the middle, the second third down gets caught, and all of a sudden now all those things we're talking about change. And so it's about, on offense, every guy taking responsibility for themselves to, hey, when I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be, I'm going to make the play that I'm supposed to make. And so Christian McCaffrey's really talented, but he also takes a lot of accountability. He's where he's supposed to be, and he makes the plays he's supposed to make. And so just need a little bit more of that from a lot of guys. So it's about him doing exactly what he's trained to do, but also trusting the guys, and then the guys making plays for him that enhance drives.
Yeah, the time you've been around Baker, what have you learned about him and how he bounces back, or how resilient he is?
I think he's elitely resilient. You don't get to where you don't go from unrecruited out of college to Heisman Trophy to first pick in the draft without having tremendous self-confidence. And true self-confidence, if it's wavered after a bad game or 2 or 3 or 4 games and not up to your standard, then these are long seasons. We got the guys that came coming from the Rams won the Super Bowl last year and didn't win a game in November. They're talking to guys about just every day just get better, stay in the moment. So Baker's he's been through a lot already as a player, and I have no concerns about his resiliency. He's fantastic that way.
Were there warning signs that some of the areas you're all weekend now, like third down and the batted down passes, when you looked at Baker during the offseason, that's been a problem for him before?
Yeah, I don't even know the benefit for me of having a lot of hindsight right now in terms of at the end of the day, we had 4 quarterbacks in that quarterback room. That was kind of one of our goals. It was always been like, hey, we understand this is a quarterback dependent league, and we're going to put as many guys in there as possible. Compete it out. 2 of the guys got hurt. So right now it's just about with where we are, how can we be more efficient and more successful? How can we be in third and more manageable? Who can we take advantage of? Who are the guys that are going to kind of make those plays, and then helping all of our guys get better? I can promise you in that locker room, there's a lot of guys saying, hey, I need to do this better, not how he needs to do that better. We have a great locker room that way, and so if we keep having that mindset, they'll improve. I really believe in the group of guys down there, and I think they'll get better.
Hang on 1 second. We'll take 2 more questions. Scott?
Speaking of quarterbacks, you might have addressed this Monday, but how far away is Darnold from even being able to play?
Yeah, I think he's a ways. I think once he's well, I mean, he hasn't practiced, so even once he's cleared, it's about what he looks like, moving around and all that. Like once he's activated to return to practice, designated to return to practice, he gets 21 days, and that's not this week. So I think you're kind of looking at, hey, you kind of do the math, right? So maybe a week or 2 away from being designated to return, and then trying to get back into it. So he's had a pretty significant injury. If you go back to when we went through it, remember we kept saying 4 to 6, and I wouldn't confirm it because I kept saying I don't know if it'll be 6 to 8. I said afterwards because it was a pretty significant injury.
Mike Salate?
Coach, you talked about Baker being elitely resilient, but even as confident as he may be, he's obviously struggling. As a staff, yourself or Ben or QB coach, how are you guys trying to lift him and kind of help him get over the rocky waters right now? Because you've seen that he can be better. He just hasn't shown it yet. Yeah,
I meet with the quarterback every Tuesday on their day off. We sit down, we talk, we debrief, for half hour, about life, about football, about the team, so that's my way of just always having a one-on-one connection with the guy each week in terms of all the other stuff, not just the football. And then again, it's just about improving the football, improving the footwork, improving the reads, improving guys being where they're supposed to be. So, we just try to keep it football and take the emotion out of it and just keep trying to improve it. Hey, if we do this way, it'll be better. If we do this way, it'll be better. Same thing we do on defense. Just you look at the plays. We might play 60 good snaps and have 4 bad snaps, and just trying to correct the things on those bad snaps. So, I think having a personal connection, a relationship with somebody, it's not for when things are going well, it's for when things are going hard, right? So that they know that they can count on you. I think it's being the same guy every day as a coach and as a position coach and quarterback coach, so you're not high and low, and then just trying to always say, hey, there's a solution, right? If there's no solution, if there's a solution, then there's always hope, because you're like, all right, if I just fix this, or if this guy's here. And so I think when guys watch the tape, they see opportunities to make plays, and it's just not there yet. So we have to just keep practicing it. It's not a fun answer, but it is what it is.
All right, thank you, Coach. Let's go ahead, Rhule.
I know it's a different system, but have you and Baker gone back and looked at when he was playing well with the Browns?
Yeah, I've looked at everything. Yeah, I've looked at everything.
What's that?
I've looked at everything. Yep. Yeah, I've looked at everything. Yep. I think that's a great question. I mean, I appreciate the question. It's great. It's what you always do, right? You always go back and look and say, hey, what is this? We go back and watch. Hey, what routes did Robbie catch in 2019? 2020. Excuse me. We try to do that for everybody. Christian, what did he do against the 49ers in 2019? So, yeah, we look at all that. That's why we're here a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks.